The news is now fully aware and going crazy about the Ghostbusters' triumphant return, and they're hitting all the big haunting sites. The paper also shows that they're busting in Long Island as well, with an article that says Amityville de-horrored. If this was a big budget movie instead of a fan film, I would want a cameo by Howard Stern talking about the Ghostbusters on his radio show during this big media montage, because how awesome would that be? But also in the papers, there's an article about a new Kandarian exhibit being made in the Museum of Natural History. Cut to Bloomis looking very happy with himself as he stares at the Necronomicon, which has now been put between glass and on display. A shadowy figure who turns out to be Mesmet walks up behind him and says, "You really did it, Bloomis." He gets a little cocky grin on his face and says, "No matter how much I hate this, at the very least, nobody can translate it." Bloomis then gets an even cockier grin on his face and says, "Au contraire, mon frère. I hired some men to retrieve the Nobi tapes." Mesmet's eyes widen as shock comes over his face, and he goes, "What?" Bloomis is feeling the most cocky he's ever felt as he glances back at Mesmet, raises his index finger, and adds, "End his diary." Mesmet yells, "No!" But it's true. Bloomis then turns to face Mesmet as he says, "They'll be back from Tennessee within a day or two." Mesmet's like,
No. No. This can't be happening! No! Oh, please, God, no!
but Bloomis just laughs in his face and goes, "Ah, yes." Bloomis then calls security, but Mesmet lunges at him as the two security guards grab him by the arm. Mesmet yells, "You son of a bitch, I'll kill you!" He's then thrown out of the Museum of Natural History as he rolls down the steps. We get more of his inner monologue. James's journal. Those Ghostbusters are impressive. I'll need to talk to them and warn them about what's going on. The next day we see a pair of hands looking at a newspaper that has an advertisement that is saying pretty much Ghostbusters for hire. We then see that 3 people answered the call and are lined up ready to become Ghostbusters. One's a sort of long-haired guy named Marshall Jackson. The other's a black guy named Bobby Baxter. And the third and final one is a blonde-haired woman named Mackenzie Ulrich. So we got a huge team of about 7 Ghostbusters. Jose is pacing around them kind of like a drill sergeant as he says, "I've read your applications. I like them. You're qualified. Oscar will train you." Oscar calls them each up one by one, and each of the new members gets a standard proton pack and a new gadget to test out. Marshall gets an Ecto Watch that comes with a built-in PKE meter, a built-in trap, and a lot of settings with different streams. There's a stun setting, a capture setting, a trap setting, and we see them practice all these types of settings on. Oscar then explains that there's one final setting that should be used only in drastic situations. It's a setting that can actually destroy a ghost, but they don't really want to use it much because ghosts are pretty much people who have been denied access into heaven or whatever you believe in. So destroying a soul is bad because there's no afterlife for the afterlife. This setting should only be used if they're dealing with demons or satanic beings who only want to kill the innocent and have never actually lived on Earth, who are just plain evil and don't need to be around anyway. In short, he says, only use this setting when we're dealing with Satan. Bobby then gets the Black Matter Shock Blast Electro Pack, and Mackenzie gets a proton pack with slime setting, which comes with like slime ropes, slime tethers, anything if they need to stick something or move something, she could use that. Jose thinks that everything's over and that he can go back and chill, but then Oscar pulls him aside to show him a new weapon that he made specifically for him. "Oh my god," Jose says, trembling with excitement as Oscar presents to him the Proton Smart Gun. Meanwhile, at the front desk, they get a visitor.